Everyone, welcome to Cooking with Nancy O and her husband Rick. And I don't know if you can see this plethora of vegetables in front of me today, but this is so exciting because our grandson Nathan, he is 7 years old, and he got out on the towers yesterday and started helping Grandpa trim all the vegetation off because we're going to have our first hard freeze. So we have kale. Oh my gosh, we have so much kale. If you can see poor Nathan holding up his kale, he is just drowning in it. Him and Grandpa celebrating everything that they picked. It was so hilarious. He had so much fun. And then when he found a little eggplant, because the eggplants didn't get much bigger because the weather's getting colder, but they're still edible. He's like, I found another eggplant, Grandpa. And he was just so very excited and so proud of himself. Look at that sweet little face. And there he is drowning in kale. So we share this kale with his family because they like to put kale in their smoothies. And we do grow extra kale for them. So it's very, very exciting. This bowl here that I am standing in front of is all the different various pumpkins and squash and all the fun things that we have pulled off the tower. We have one little baby guy. He didn't get to grow too big because something chewed on his little stem, but he's so cute for decorating. And we grew these mini pumpkins because we wanted the kids to have some mini pumpkins. I always thought mini pumpkins were really cute and adorable. So today, let's see if I can get this stack back in here the way I had it. I'm actually going to hand this to Rick, or let Rick take it over to the other counter so we can have some room to talk. Oh, here, wait. Look at how gorgeous this is, guys. Isn't he gorgeous? He's a little mini acorn squash, but he's so cute. Okay, I just had to pull that off there because I love fall. I don't know about you guys, but I can never get enough. I'm a pumpkin fanatic because it was very exciting to me growing up having pumpkin pie on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays because it's all about gathering with family and friends, and I just love that and just enjoying family time. So today's recipe, I chose a pumpkin chili, and I'm very, very excited about to try this. I'm actually going to pull my ingredients around because this recipe is huge in ingredients, but it's going to be well worth it. It's only about 20 minutes of cutting and prepping for it, and it's not that long to cook it. So it's a really good recipe to have. So we have taken some green peppers, 1 green pepper, 2 red bell peppers, an onion, and of all things, a sweet potato. We have those all chopped up, and we have already simmered them in the pot back there on the stove. Rick is going to add some more ingredients because just to cut a little bit of time while we're cooking here today. So we have sauteed that so it's all nice and tender. And now it's time to add our ground beef, right? Salt and pepper. Okay, we're gonna add some salt and pepper to it. There's a lot of ingredients. So what we do is we pre-measure before we start cooking when there's this many ingredients. Now, the recipe calls for 2 pounds of ground turkey. We didn't have ground turkey on hand, but we always have 90% fat-free, 90% ground beef. So that's what we're using because that's what we had on hand. I have before used half turkey, half ground beef, whatever you prefer eating. You can even throw in deer in the recipe if you want. But this particular recipe calls for 2 pounds of ground turkey. He is browning that. And then while he's browning that, we're going to show you a little trick about the tomato sauce. We wanted to use as many fresh ingredients as we could on this. And you know, we talk about all these tomatoes we grow. Here's some tomatoes we pulled yesterday. They're a little small, but they are mighty in flavor. So this is the tomato sauce I made. Let's see if I can move some of these other ingredients out. This was just a tomato puree that we had in the freezer from the last time we put up tomatoes. You notice it's very thick and the color isn't as red because it's our homemade. So this is what we did. You can see how runny this is. What we did is we made a little roux for this and we made it a little bit thicker. because the pumpkin we're using is also our pumpkin that we grew. And if you've ever cooked a pumpkin, it's runnier than what you get at the store. See how that's nice and runny? But we want all the fresh in there. So, Rick, are you ready to start the roux back there?
Yeah.
So what we did is we're taking 1/4 cup of butter. It's already melted, and we're going to add 1/4 cup of flour to it, and we're just going to blend it till it's nice and thick. It made ours very thick. I would have cut this in half normally for a regular recipe, but I wanted it a little thicker because we were using the fresh pumpkin. If you don't have tomatoes on hand to cook your own, use tomato sauce. And that's in our recipe. And you're going to probably want to reach out to me for this recipe because it's so big. And it just has lots of ingredients, lots of really good ingredients. So as he's thickening that back there, he's saying, oh, you need the tomato sauce from me, don't you, babe? Okay, let's add this in. And stir it. I kind of added that a little fast. I don't know why I did that. I should let him add it slowly. And he's just going to cook that till it's thick. And that's what's going to make this nice, thick tomato sauce for us. And it's not going to be as red because we don't have any color additives or anything like that in there. And the other thing I want to talk to you guys about is this recipe does have a sweet potato in it, and it gives it extra flavor. So I'm very excited about the sweet potato because what kind of good nutrients are in sweet potatoes? So that's all really good. Okay, where are you at back there? You're still browning and thickening? Okay. While he's browning and thickening, I have so much good information for you. First of all, the sweet potato is a root vegetable, so it's not going to grow on the tower garden. But it's an excellent source of vitamins and nutrition. And I just kind of want to cover, it's like full of high antioxidants that protect your body from all kinds of chronic diseases. You guys, I'm finding that the more and more we eat these vegetables, this is just unbelievable. I came home from conference, and what I have learned on fighting disease is more about prevention with the vegetables. It's so much more important. It also promotes gut health with all the high fiber it has in it. I have always loved sweet potatoes, so I have no problem adding that to my diet. So pumpkins, there's all different kinds of pumpkins out there. And with this one, we are using a, is it nice and thick? Okay, the roux on the stove is nice and thick now. So we're going to set that aside, and then he can finish browning his ground beef back there, right? How's that going? Sorry, we're kind of doing 2 steps here, so I'll backtrack a little bit on the pumpkin in a second. Okay, he's getting the hamburger going. We have to get it nice and brown, or the ground turkey, whichever one you're using. Then what we're going to do is we are going to add a mixture of chili powder. There is cumin in here. We have cinnamon in here. There's nutmeg in here. And there's also some we didn't have chipotle. The recipe calls for chipotle chili sauce, but if you have smoked paprika at your house, that works just as well. All right, is it all brown yet? Not yet? Okay. So what's going to happen is when he gets all of that meat brown, he's going to add this, and he's just going to cook it a little bit until it starts becoming very fragrant. It's probably only going to take about 30 seconds, but it's amazing the flavor, how it's going to enhance the flavor for you. I'm going to hand this to you, so when you're ready, you can add that. Okay, back to my pumpkins that I love. Last year when we did the cooking show, I covered a whole array of pumpkins. And this is some of the pumpkin that we had in our freezer, and that's why I chose to use this. On the tower, I grew sugar pie pumpkins. That's what those smaller ones, not the baby ones, but the small pumpkins. Those were sugar pie pumpkins. And what we're adding to our soup today, our chili, is going to be the Cinderella pumpkin because it's so much more flavorful. So the sugar pie pumpkins are great for, and that's what you're going to find the small ones in the store. You're going to find sugar pies, and they're a smaller one. They have more flavor for baking and cooking and all that. And it's really easy to cook them. You just cut the tops of your pumpkins off and turn them, clean them out, of course, the seeds, turn them upside down and just bake them in the oven and they just kind of fall, the pumpkin will fall together, and you scrape all that goodness out of there. And that's how easy it is to get your fresh pumpkin. Okay, he's adding spices back there, so it's going to become very fragrant in here. I love doing this. Sometimes I love just sauteing spices in a fry pan to get all those aromas going. Okay, when he's done with that, we're going to add our beans. So we're using pinto beans in this recipe. We're going to add our pumpkin and our tomato sauce. You want to just add the sauce you have on the stove?
Yeah.
Okay. And then he's going to cook that and also add a cup of broth. You can use water if you would prefer, but I have some chicken broth here. I had it on hand, so that's what we're using. If you have vegetable broth, you can use that. Make sure it's low sodium. That will help. Same with the pinto beans, because you want to keep that down. Okay, go ahead and put the sauce. And then you want the beans. Oh my gosh. So actually, when this is all together, we're going to simmer this for like 30 minutes and it's done. I personally think the trick to chili, though, is the next day it tastes fantastic. Okay, here's your pumpkin. Now see, his sauce was a little bit thicker. So then when the pumpkin goes in, that'll help thicken that up a little also. Oh, we have diced tomatoes. So we were going to take our cherry tomatoes and fire roast them, but we did not have time. So instead we're using canned fire roasted tomatoes. I can only get up so early to prepare for this, guys. Here's some fire roasted ones for you. You see that pot coming together back there? Oh my gosh, it looks so good. Excuse me. And then we have our broth. You ready? That is going to sit and simmer for about 30 minutes. We're going to steal a bite out of it beforehand, even though we didn't hear. We'll put it in here for you to taste, babe. Okay, then let's talk. I want to finish talking about my pumpkins. I love pumpkins, guys. I can't help it. Some people are pumpkin obsessed. Other people just hate pumpkins. But what I was telling you about the pumpkin was how to cook them. When you clean the pumpkin out, don't forget to clean the seeds up and roast them. You just mix a little bit of olive oil and put some seasoning on them and you're ready to go. If you don't have olive oil on hand, use some butter, melt it, and just kind of sprinkle it onto all that and just mix it all up, and then you roast them in the oven. Fantastic snack. Okay, pumpkins, great source of vitamin A, beta carotene, protein, and fiber. Kind of sounds similar to our sweet potato, doesn't it? Exactly. Okay. Now, Rick, how are we doing back there?
It looks like everything's mixed.
Okay. That looks really good. Are we going to be able to taste that?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a little measuring cup here. You're going to have to put it in. Here, let me give you a bowl. Here we go. We're going to taste this before all the flavors are blended, because I'm sure you guys don't want to stand here and watch us cook for 30 minutes, right? So I'm going to have Rick, here's a little bit. Taste that a little bit for us and see how the flavors are blending. So I don't know if you guys were impressed with all those vegetables we showed you off of our tower just now, but I am so excited about what's coming off of our tower. We have green tomatoes coming like crazy again. And we have just buckets of chard coming off. We're not even done cutting it off. The celery, we're finally going to harvest the rest of our celery. We've been eating celery off of our tower all summer, and it's been great. We have our seeds started for indoors. All these vegetables we're going to be growing indoors and continue with the cooking show to teach you all that. So this is like really exciting for us. Are you ready to taste it?
That I am.
That he is. I don't know if you guys have ever tasted the Cincinnati. I know it is Cincinnati chili, but it has cinnamon and nutmeg and all that in. So I'm really curious to see how close this is to that chili. A good friend of mine, Heidi and Ray, the Skyline. I think it's also called Skyline chili. What do you think?
Good day for that.
Good day. Oh yeah, we're having our first freeze today. So tonight, this is going to be great for dinner. You know,
Like a little more chili powder, maybe.
well, wait till it hits.
Yeah.
Okay, so now at this point of the recipe, this is really good. So it does not taste like Skyline to me, but it's kind of a mix from regular chili and Skyline chili. So I have to thank Heidi and Ray for turning us on to Skyline chili. Maybe one day we'll do that on the cooking show. But this is so good with the pumpkin in it. Guys, you have got to try this. You're coming into winter. It doesn't taste overly pumpkin. It just has a wonderful different chili flavor to it. I'm very excited about this recipe. Okay, what do you guys want us to cook for you? Let us know, reach out, send us a recipe through Messenger or through email, whatever you want to do. We are game to try anything. Ask us any questions. We love our towers. We're going to be expanding a lot with our customer base. We came home from conference. I did. Rick wasn't able to go. And I came home with so much more information. Anybody that has purchased an indoor tower from me up to this point, I want you to know that they now have cages available for them. And if you reach out to me before I reach out to you to see if you need one, you will have a special deal in line for you. So I'm very, very excited about that. So until next week, think about where you could put a tower in your house, because it is so easy. You just need a corner. It comes with lights. The lights everything runs on timer. We have one set up in an extra bedroom. I have a friend doing in a garage, a climate controlled garage. We also grow in our basement. We put a couple down there. We grow on 3 towers all year round. So just kind of reach out to us with any of your questions. We're very excited to share and all the new information we have. So I think until next week, you guys have a wonderful week. Our weather here is beautiful. I hope your weather is beautiful. And we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh. I love this. Don't you?
Yep.
Do you know who's going to like this? Christopher.
Yeah. Don't like it.
Okay. I love the recipe. I think we need